Welcome to this speech about sustainability, safety and security. When I go around with the ship owners, not only here at Dunse but in the Nordic countries, these are really topics that concern them all. So when I was invited to give a speech at the Dunse Shipping Meet 2019, I thought that could be a good topic. So I will start with sustainability. Sustainability is the key word for the time being. How can we make the industry sustainable with the goals we set ourselves for the time being? We have been asked to reduce fuel, we have been asked to reduce emission and particles and sulfur, etc., etc. So how can we change a total industry? During my life in Veritas, I have learned, especially also here up at Dunse, that working together in teams, that is the way forward. You have to invent and arrange workshops, and you have to speak with your colleagues in the industry. This is not only your problem or your issue. We all have to fulfill the objectives for a sustainable sea transportation. On Dunse and in Sweden, we have several good examples. For instance, the Zero Vision campaign. And you can now see the result of all these beautiful ships with LNG as fuel, and other examples. People that are involved in these type of workshops and industry projects, they will also become the front runner. They will lead the development. So the Swedish ship owners and the Nordic ship owners, they are already in the front to create sustainability shipping for the future. There are several other projects not dealing with sea transportation, for instance, transportation by road and transportation by railroad and aviation. Everybody in this room should also look at these industries in order to learn and get ideas how to apply their thinking in the industry. Another thing that drives the development is the consumers and how they think. We have seen many examples of big corporations that demand green sea transportation. For instance, the Swedish-based or Swedish IKEA, they have clearly announced that they prefer sea transportation in a green way. And there are other examples, and there will come more. Sustainability means also to take care of the ships when time has gone. The time is for scrapping. Now we have the IHM regulations that applies for all of you from 2020. And this is also an initiative you have to comply with. How will the future sea transportation look like? I think there will be some changes to the traditional sea transportation. Will we see large containers as we see them today, or will we see small packages moved around with drone technology? We don't know, but the driver is sustainable transportation. So with this slide, there are some examples on the transition of sea transportation in sustainability. Now I will jump to safety. One of the rules classification has is to create a safe sea transportation. We dislike to see accidents like this. How can we prevent accidents? How can we increase the safety at sea so we don't lose material, we don't lose our people that works on board the ships? How can we do that? We can do that by speaking together, develop new rules and regulations based on the experience we have with accidents. The former speaker from Swedish Club was mentioning hotspots, and that is a good example how to give focus on where the risks are. Also, as a classification society, we have a register of ship accidents that gives us the possibility to make new rules to avoid accidents. At this island there are many chemical oil tankers, and the risk for an oil spill is not as big as it was for 20 years ago. And why so? Because we have learned from history how to avoid the risks of oil spill. This has not only been driven by class society, but also with the IMO and other authorities. So we now have developed SOLAS and MARPOL rules that take care of these risks. Here are some examples on different measures we have taken together with the IMO in order to reduce risk of oil spill. We also need to look at the ship's structure so it can maintain the strength in bad weather conditions where we encounter big waves up to 16 or 20 significant wave height. We as a class, we put a lot of money on research. We have research departments. We have people educated from the universities that drives the new research development of new rules. Today we have very good computers that can simulate what happens when a ship is bending, and that gives us the opportunity to focus on parts of the ship that suffer from high stress concentrations. So here we are again. Sorry for that. There are many new projects, not only on traditional waterways, but also in the Arctic areas. For that reason, we have developed the Polar Code together with IMO. And that is something that is quite new, but it is an example of how rules can be developed to fit new sea transportation, where we have cold climate, a lot of ice, etc. Here are some examples of ships that are fueled with LNG, and it started here at Onsö for the Swedish ship owners, and now we have been built up a large experience with using LNG as fuel. Not only used as fuel, but also bunkering ashore, ship-to-ship bunkering, and imports by truck and by pipelines, and also with bunker barges. The last word I would like to mention here is security. Security is about cybersecurity. This is a large problem for us in the future because we are very much dependent on cyberspace we are dependent on the internet, and that makes us vulnerable for hackers, etc. So in Veritas we have developed rules for avoiding the risk of cyber breakdowns. There are two legs here. Is the safety of cyber and security of cyber. So in our class rules, we have now developed safety rules that address the management of the ship and the management of information by using the internet from a ship. So it goes with the design of the ship, it goes with the management, the training of the crew. The next thing is also to take action on the cyber security. How can we make our computer system secure? We have to identify the risks and then try to protect the system against failure and against hacker and enemies that would like to create a problem with the ships. And then finally, detect, respond, and recover. That approach is built in our rules and regulations. The connection between shore and ship is very, very important to get that safe. So nobody can read what is sent from the ship to shore. And you can also find that in the regulations. And how do we manage this technology? That is also mentioned in our rules and how we train our people. You can find our rules on our website, veristar.com. Finally, cyber secure. You need to be able to secure the ship and the cargo on board the ship and the man. There are additional class notations to this with cyber security in our rule book. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Bengt. Interesting. I know that you have been at Bureau Veritas for 15 years, and Donsö Shipping Meet has 10 years back when we started the first time, and then every other year. So this is the 6th Donsö Shipping Meet. What is, if you should say something about Donsö Shipping Meet in one sense, what should you say? Because you have been here every year, haven't you?
I think Donsö Shipping Meet is an amazing place for networking in the sea industry, in the maritime industry.
Mm. That's good.
Yeah.
And what is your expectations for this Donsö Shipping Meet 19? What is your schedule? How does it look?
Well, we hope we can expand our network with the industry, not only with the existing clients, but with new clients, companies, and also with the universities and the associations connected with the industry.
So networking is your advice to all new participants, maybe?
Yes, that's truly my advice. In order to cope with the difficulties we see coming in the future, We all need to work together.